Greetings, greetings. Welcome once again to Builders Office Hours. And today we have Lloyd once again joining
Game,
us.
game, guys.
He couldn't be on the last call, so welcome back, Mr. Lloyd. What's happening? What you been up to, my guy?
Thanks, Google. BM, guys. I've had a dope week, a bit busy, but yeah, a dope week as well. Couldn't manage to join the last time. I had internet issues. My normal mobile network was a bit slow, so I couldn't stream. But yeah,
Okay.
been playing around with some of the AI hackathons that have been happening um, around. That's the
Mhm.
synthesis. Is it synthesis? It's synthesis.md. I think we
Yeah,
showed that one,
this is
and
MT.
then yeah, I found a few others. I think two or three that I also just decided to participate in. And then
Definitely.
if you're in Zambia, I noticed over the week the Bank of Zambia had a public notice where they were calling for registration of virtual asset service providers. So if you're in Zambia and you're into crypto and whether it's transferring assets or you've built something or an application that on base that uses crypto in any form, please feel free to go to the Bank of Zambia website and fill in the form so that you can be registered into the database and so that we can, start being part of the regulation that they are about to start rolling out. So if you're in Zambia, that's just a tip for you to register. The deadline is tomorrow, 27th of March. So anybody who's been
Nice.
building, definitely register. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what do you have to have a registered company? What are they saying? Or you just
Um,
any builder just registers
no.
and
Any
then
any any builder, it's you can either be an individual or you can be a company. So for example, if you are like on Binance, and this is also for organizations that also just deal in crypto in Zambia, whether you're abroad or so somebody came in from South Africa, but if you have a company or if your company does crypto business in one way or another in Zambia, you also have to register for this database that they are creating, which
nice.
is a really good move because I've seen a lot of other countries are pushing the uh, VASPs. So yeah, I think it's the right move for the country and the other countries as well. I think I saw Kenya as well. Kenya did something similar, if I'm not mistaken, but
Hmm.
I think they
Yeah.
are slightly way ahead already. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
So
definitely like an adoption from the financial services sector. The central banks are also trying to, regulate. So it looks like there's a lockstep where all the, countries that are part of like the FICA and all that are basically
oh
aligning the approach and how to regulate like stable coins and crypto. So yeah, so this is actually a step that they took in South Africa, I think about two years ago or so,
oh
where they got everybody to register and get licenses. So yeah, a couple of companies eventually got financial services licenses through this approach. So it's great to see that it's going on in Zambia. And I also picked up another thing. There's this company that's doing like fiber networks and telecoms. What's the name of this company? But the owner is like this billionaire guy, right? He lives here in South Africa. He's the guy involved with the basketball as well. What's his name? Strive Masiyiwa.
Strive.
He's done a partnership with Circle to
Oh
officially, become the partner for like a telecoms partner. Not telecoms. I mean, he's got fintech companies. I think he's a one of
yeah.
his companies is a competitor to Safari.com, if I'm not mistaken. So he's become a partner or his company has become a partner to USDC. to Circle, to
Does
enable
it
USDC across
doesn't
African
he
markets.
doesn't he own EcoBank?
Yeah, he's got a couple of telecoms companies, so I'm not sure, like across Africa, if they would all be registered under one name. But he's also involved in fintech. And then they're also doing the fiber. I know in South Africa they do the fiber networks. They
Yeah,
connect to Seacom and across
yeah,
Africa, and they're building this Africa's AI center. So yeah,
yeah.
so these guys are doing quite a lot. And now they've embraced the USDC stablecoin. The good news is that whatever everyone else is building will be able to integrate to the stuff because these guys are involved in telecoms. So you can imagine now via mobile money, you'll be able to get USDC in any of these countries. I think I read that they're in 30 countries in Africa, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
So, that's going to be like a serious expansion, right? The only
Yeah, no,
bad,
it is because
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, Econet should supply infrastructure to other companies, other like providers in Africa. I
yeah,
think they use his tech, so yeah, it's definitely going
yeah,
to be a huge push
mm,
towards
yeah.
stablecoins on USSD.
Yeah, the only downside is because they've got a bank, they've got a financial services company. So the only downside is the monopolization of this. It's going to push a lot of guys that are doing these apps for, money transfers and off-ramping because these guys have got mobile money. So they will plug in direct to the mobile companies. They will have the continental license for financial services. So the downside is that it's going to push a lot of apps that, we've been trying to build or us independent builders have been trying to build. But then at the same time, we can see like what other services can we build on top of that to accentuate, because this will allow DeFi to extend to generic mobile users. So whatever technology they'll implement, you can imagine it's going to cross over to like your local, wherever you are, your local mobile companies. So if you have a DeFi system, then you can build tools that work via, the mobile numbers, um,
Mhm.
which will be easier for people to on-ramp and off-ramp. So I think going forward, there will be those opportunities. But of course, guys, the people that get in early are always the ones that get the most traction at the beginning. So so disruption is coming even to us, our industry. So if you're a builder in the past and you knew how to build smart contracts or these systems or Web3 apps, the competition is increasing because the big guys are coming in and they are getting, crypto in a box or crypto as a service from the likes of, Circle, from the likes of Coinbase. So yeah, so that's
Yeah.
something to consider is that a lot of the stuff that we've built in the last year might get disrupted. If you are dealing with remittances, money transfers, and all that kind of
Hmm.
stuff, your stuff might not be around in the next 6 months. So think around adding DeFi services, right? Um, so that if you are being disrupted from money sends, remittances, on ramp, off ramp, whatever, then you can deal with the core crypto service. You can enable DeFi. You can enable, any other services. You can enable content creators to earn. So there's so many other ways that we can still survive within the space and monetize. Because also the remittance business was also, you're now competing with Circle because the margins have become lower. Circle is they've got agents, they've got partners with apps, so the margins have become much, much, much smaller. So now you need volume. So that model was always going to die. So, so the thing that will survive, I think, will be the DeFi, agentic economy tools in a box, but also, creator economy tools in a box. So when you design those kind of tools, I believe that those will still survive because then the big guys might be a little slow or might be a little regulatory limited to be able to offer those in a decentralized format. So yeah, so
Yeah,
that's my thinking, man. But yeah, a lot is happening, man. So Lloyd, just
a
to
lot.
add, I was just adding to what you were saying. So if the banks
Yeah.
are getting in on it, the telco mobile companies are getting on it, the financial services companies are already in on it. We're seeing mass adoption in the next 2 years, I think, at scale. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to scale.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's
And
very
then
it's very
base
it's very
batches.
interesting.
Mm. Base batches. Did robotics track close?
No, 4 more days.
Or 4 more days, yeah?
Yeah, 4 more days. So I think it was extended to 30th. So the
Right.
30th is is when it's closing. So 4 more days to go, guys. And the last time I checked, if I'm not mistaken, it showed 500 people had applied. So I was happy to see that
Is it?
people actually, you know, decided to actually go there and take their ideas there. So that
Nice,
was that was
nice,
great to
nice.
see. Yeah,
Okay, so March 30th, that's the deadline. Okay. All right.
yeah, March 30th.
Also, where are they showing? Also, you have to submit your application to be able to
No,
view,
I saw
or you
I
have to
saw
sign
it
in.
right when you sign in. There's
Mhm.
this screen where it also shows um like hackathons passing, so you can see like how many people have participated. It
All
it will
right.
show. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Saying continue with Ethereum, really? Huh? Okay, let me go sign in on the other side. So we'll quickly look at it and copy this link.
Yeah, maybe it's trying to sync your app um or your
Yeah.
account to like your wallet. Yeah.
Okay, let me try this one. Don't know if I created an account here. Okay, no, I didn't.
Couldn't find an account. But yeah, looking at how like things are going, like if you like from my side, if you look at how like AI agents are now just becoming um way more I would say prominent and used, like in the
Mm,
beginning it was just like a few people talking about it, but now, we can see
yeah.
how it's becoming like way more mainstream than yeah, it's
Hmm. Where do
way
I
more mainstream.
view the applicants?
Your homepage,
Okay.
just click home.
Home.
No,
Okay.
yeah, home. So it should show like a sort of scroll thing. Okay, hackathons. Just click
Let
hackathons.
me check for Shabs quickly. If he's not sitting outside waiting for me to let him in. Ah, there he is. Okay.
Oh,
Hey, Shabs, welcome.
Hey
hey
guys,
Shad,
How are you?
how's it
sorry
going,
for the
bro?
tardiness, yeah?
Good, good,
No
good. Sorry
worries.
we kept you outside, man.
Sure.
Okay, so happening now, we should be able to see
Yeah, there you go.
base
So you see,
batches
student
and
track
then
1,000 plus participating.
oh,
Not sure
oh,
about
you look
that.
at the summary of how many. Okay,
Yeah.
I
So
see.
when you go
But
back,
we can't, yeah,
it
we
will
can't
show
look at
you
their
not this
project,
one.
right?
It will show you the next one. Yeah, there. So it says 500 plus participating. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a lot, eh, for robotics. Mm, that's quite a lot. And then let's see, for student track, oh, there's already over 1,000 participants.
Already.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
Mm,
this closed. I feel like that was also a very interesting hackathon.
synthesis.
Yeah, it was. It
Mm,
was. It was. It was interesting.
yeah, because Base got actually very involved in this as well, yeah.
Yeah, Face is
Mm,
involved in.
Okay, let's see the
in
projects
this
that
as well.
came up.
I think there was 600 projects.
Mhm.
Yeah. So people had to choose the stack that they wanted to use. So whether it's APIs from people like MetaMask or Filecoin, Base, there was a group of like
Mm.
partners that were part of this.
Mm.
But
Yeah, it's quite a lot of
um,
participants. I think I'm going to take time to just go and see and get inspiration for ideas. So if anybody is wondering about what AI agents can do, go to synthesis.md/projects, and you can look at all the applicants that participated in this hackathon and
yeah,
learn a few things about, how other people are using AI agents. So you can see like,
yeah,
but I think a lot of people are just sort of like replicating stuff that's already in the Web3 space or in the real world and trying to do similar services for agents, because agents in a sense are like a virtual extension of humans, or a virtual extension of some functions that repetitive functions human beings would do online. So AI agents are like literally taking over those functions, and being able to, make payments and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
anything repetitive is very ideal. Anything repetitive online, I think, is very
Oh,
ideal for
there's
AI agents,
Jesse
right?
GPT. To see your mouth.
Oh yeah, this one's been around for a while.
Yeah,
They had a whole Telegram,
yeah,
in the base app, then they had a whole thing like, um, what did they do? They Jesse posted about it some time back. There was a whole
yeah,
thing
yeah.
like
They've been
submitting
there for a while.
ideas, yeah,
Um,
but then it kind of went quiet. So, mm. Yeah, but these guys they've been around for over a year doing this Jesse GPT, right?
yeah,
So
they've been
yeah,
there for over a year.
yeah, to be interesting to see what this becomes. But yeah, so yeah, there's a lot. But yeah, we'll make time. I'll make time to look at these personally on my side. Okay, and then so Lloyd, on the last call, I was showing everyone how to get started with base.dev,
Yeah,
because now um everything that you do on so with the new structure for what we used to be base mini apps is now Web3 apps. But basically now any app that you build, um it needs to be a web app, right? And you need to add it on base.dev. If you want it to feature like in the base app, you add it on base, turn it into a web app, you add the Web3 Wallet Connect, functionalities. You'll find that on the docs, base docs on base.org. And so that it's that simple now. It just needs to be a Web3 app, or a web page, with Wallet Connect, and authentication integrated into that. Okay.
yeah.
Did Shep fall
I
out as well? Shep, are you
no,
still
he's
with us?
there. He's there.
Oh, okay.
I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I think
then
it makes it easy
mhm.
for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. And then you need to add builder codes, which you find over there in settings. There's a builder code that you get for your app. It's a unique code. And the process of adding it is actually uh on the
So
docs. Okay.
is it
Yeah.
is it like different builder codes for different applications, or it's like builder code specifically for like your profile as a builder?
It's for each app. So every time you
Ah,
register
okay.
an app here, like for example, this app of mine has got its own unique builder code, right?
Yeah,
Over here, right? And then if I check out another app I've registered,
it's got its
let's
own
see
builder
this
code.
one. Yeah, then it would have its own builder code. Is that different? Let me see. What's the last number? Is it one in? FLN. Okay, let's check this other one. Yeah, so they are different. So each app has got its own unique builder code, and that helps track you know who this app in fact builder codes for
Belongs
tracking
to.
transactions, right? So
Yeah.
transactions that are happening on chain and that are happening within the base app. So that's what the builder codes will track. Okay. So, and those transactions allow you to be, get on the leaderboard, for example, right? So what I
Yeah.
was telling the guys that like if your app is going viral, it will likely feature in the top 10 and your weekly transactions. So these transactions here, so this app, the leaderboard works on weekly transactions. So it looks like at weekly transacting users, right? So there needs to be unique users connected their wallets and transacting. Then they will also look at the transaction, number of transactions, and then they'll, so if you're applying for grants, they'll first look at where are you on the leaderboard, and they'll look at your stats, even like your transaction count, transaction volume. If your app is making money, then you these guys base will sort of like amplify your message, post you on their socials. If you can see this week they're spotlighting a couple of apps, like I think Avantis is one of them. This app over here, there's a couple of apps that they are spotlighting this week.
Hydrex as well.
Yeah,
I think that's one of them.
Hydrex is there as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw there's about six or seven. So these are
Mamo.
apps that actually,
Mamo
yeah,
is also
Mamo
one
as
of
well.
them. Yeah. Mamo,
Okay,
number 14.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mamo is an agent. Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I see
It's
your
like,
board.
yeah, it's like one of those in the base messaging, base app in the messages. So
Mm-hmm.
you could kind of like automate. If you integrate it, you could get it to send, get it to buy, trade for you. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was
Like the
sometime
way
last year.
Banker
It could have
is.
changed what they do. Hey,
Like
like
Banker.
Banker Bot, yes,
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, of which Banker is one of the apps that they're going to be profiling this week. So basically, they post about it. They invite those guys into the builder, into the AMAs, Ask Me Anything on Reddit. They invite them onto the Build on Base live streams and stuff like that. So they help amplify your message to the base ecosystem. But with that also comes things like, you qualify for some base grants. They help you with marketing. And if you're looking for investments, in some instances, then they refer you to perhaps Coinbase Ventures. So it's great to get your builder codes. I think they're becoming a standard in terms of if you want to be featured on the base app, you have to have builder codes integrated, right?
Yeah.
What else is there? So yeah, so we spoke about the builder codes. What else did we speak about? Okay, we spoke about the metadata, which is now done over here. So in the past, we mentioned we're doing it in your actual, code, in your actual, as you're building and using the Farcaster SDK approach. But now this is where you do your metadata from your app name, the taglines, etc., and all the app creatives, your screenshots, thumbnail, icon, etc. So yeah, so this is where you do it, and they're constantly upgrading this. So some features are still buggy. Like, for example, a lot of people have been trying to add another URL, and you see it creates another, it wants you to go and paste this in your app again, but you probably already have done it when you're at the stage. So yeah, so that needs to be fixed. So there's a couple of features that they're fixing that are still buggy. Okay. And
Yeah.
then if I think I saw something on the leaderboard. Where did I see more info? I saw some information somewhere. Okay, so there's an FAQ. Let me see. Have they updated any specific docs? Okay, no, not those. Okay, I think they've removed it. There was some type of a page that I saw previously. Maybe it was before they updated the leaderboard. That had some more information like a brief summary of some sort of the leaderboard. But I think you will find that information like if you click on, let's say, for example, okay, wait.
Which one specifically are you looking for?
Yeah, so
Maybe
I'm
I can
just
also
trying to,
search.
oh yeah, so if you want to find out about weekly transacting users, there's this little pop-up, bubble text that tells you what that is. This tells you what that is. And then if
No
you want to open that specific
transactions.
app, you can scan the QR code to open it as a base app or yeah. So some apps can open as a web page. I'm not sure if all of them require, okay, some will open as a web page. They're not on base app. So you can click on there, open app, and you'll be able to open that. Okay. So they've
Yeah, in
hyperlinked
Google,
it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the top of this page. It says base chain and base app.
Yes. Yeah. So
Um,
this is the actual base app on your mobile phone.
yeah,
What was called previously called mini apps,
yeah,
which are now just base, I guess, web apps. So all the mini apps that feature in the base app, this is where you would track all the transactions, they track all the users. And then if you're just building on base, it's not a mini app. You're just using the base blockchain for transactions, and you've added builder codes. You want to track those, transactions. You want to, yeah. Then this is where you come in. You see.
yeah.
So yeah, so some of these, like this one, Ethos, I don't think it's a mini app. So you see, it only opens on, they've got their own website, but they're using Base. They've built it on Base. They're
Okay,
using the
makes
Base
sense.
chain. Yeah.
Makes
So
sense.
this is what Base chain would be. So any app that uses the Base
That's just
blockchain, basically. Yeah. Okay.
awesome.
So yeah, so builder codes is pretty simple. So yeah, so we kind of went through this, how to add it, but a lot of people have been facing some technical difficulties in adding new apps. Have been getting errors. That's because there are bugs that the team is working on. So all those are being fixed in real time, and then they are, adding new features, etc., as time goes. So yeah, so people have to reach out to, you know, the Discord to be able to get personalized assistance with a specific bug. So that's how it's working now. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was all with the builder codes. Yeah, any questions
Nice.
on your end, Lloyd, since you are not with us, or anything you want to highlight, maybe if you've played around with them a bit?
No, 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 not nothing to add, but other than just saying, I feel like this is way easier compared to like the steps we used to do just to have, an app on the base app,
Yeah,
or signing
very much.
the metadata. It was
The
we tried
manifest and all
to,
that.
yeah, try to make it
Mm.
easier. The tutorials, even the guys who made the documentation from base and like Farcaster had also done like a great job to make it at least
Mm.
way easier. But I feel this, even a complete beginner won't really be able
Yeah, I won't struggle.
to have any issues.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
because there's no code tool to add
it's a
your
no.
metadata now.
Yeah,
So the only part that you need to change is when you're adding a new app, registering a new app, it still comes up with that code that says verify your app, right?
yeah.
Where you have to copy it. Let me see if I have one that gave me something like that. What was the one that I was looking at? Was it this one? No, it wasn't this one. It was something else. So there's something that asks you to, let me see. It asks you to verify your app. So you have to copy the code. Um, oh, I'm not seeing it anymore. But yeah, there's a little pop-up screen when you try and register a new app that asks you to verify that app, you know.
Yeah.
So you copy the meta tag and paste it in your app, and you ask your app to place it in the right place, right? And then you deploy, then you come back and verify. That's the only requirement that's really needed. That's technical. But once they've fixed all this stuff, I think they might find a way to make that part even easier as well. So we'll see how that works out. Yeah. So yeah, so
Excuse me.
that's really
Yeah.
it on metadata. The only other thing that I forgot to mention was you can add up to 10 wallet addresses. So if you're building with a team, you can come and add their wallet addresses here so they can have access to the same base.dev, you know. So if say you are a startup founder and you are non-technical and you have someone in your team who's building for you or who's technical, then you can add them here so they can come and maybe fill in, you know, the stuff or even track your analytics. So if you have somebody who's tracking your analytics, oh, here's the verifying thing I was talking about. So when you add a new app for the first time, you need to come and verify. So when you click verify, you need to copy this HTML, which is the base app ID, right? So that's the app ID. And then you go and paste it in the head element of your homepage. So you just go to your VS Code and then you paste there and you paste this instruction over here as well to say add the following to the head element, and then you copy and paste that as well as this, and then you deploy it in your VS Code, right? So you paste it in your VS Code, run it, let it edit, then you deploy to your production URL. Then when you come back here and add your app's URL, you'll be able to verify. Yeah. So I've been seeing a lot of people struggling with this section for some reason or the other. So yeah, so it could be because of a bug, but I think for some people they normally go and sign in with the wrong profile. So like today they'll sign in like you see, this is my wallet address over here. Today they'll sign in here and then tomorrow they'll go and open maybe another, you know, profile on Google, which will have a different base account wallet address. And then they log in, but because they're still using the same Chrome browser, they're assuming that, you know, yeah. And then they'll go and register a new app again. They won't see that app and think, oh, my app disappeared. And they'll register a new app again and then try and verify. So I've been seeing some stuff like that because it happened to me, you know, when I started using the space.dev. I wasn't taking into account which apps I've registered on which side, but hopefully we'll have a tool that allows people to manage, you know, like, you know, where you can email yourself and you know which apps are perhaps linked to your wallet address. So hopefully we'll get a feature like that in the near future. But yeah, so that's kind of it for um, base.dev. Yeah, but a lot of people, I think,
Yeah.
currently, you might face some challenges. Then head to our Discord because the base team is actually working on updates as we speak. There's been a couple of bugs that they've picked up and they're, you know, working to fix them, as well as the ones in the base app as well. So yeah, so that's the current status of, you know, mini apps and the transition to web apps. But everything is in the documentation. When you go to the base.org docs, there is the migration guide, right, which tells you what's changed. And then there is the instructions of how to migrate. And then there's also a checklist, which tells you, like, you know, what you should add. And then if you're struggling, there's the AI assistant, which you find over there. In the base docs, it says Ask AI. When you ask this AI, it's pretty sharp. It's consistently being trained with all the stuff and all the changes. So it's really up to date now. So you can ask it and to give you a guideline and give you, you know, even if you have an app that say you know, it's still a Farcaster app, or maybe it was another type of an app, you can ask this if it's a PHP or whatever, you can ask it and then it will tell you what to do. Okay. So yeah, so that's kind of it. And then if you're choosing your migration path, you just need to be cautious of this part. So copying and pasting the whole page with the migration won't work very well for you. So you need to actually go step by step, and then you need to choose your migration path. So if previously you had a mini app, which probably had the Farcaster SDK, then you need to follow this guide. If it didn't have a Farcaster SDK, then you need to follow this guide. Okay. Yeah. And then you just sort of follow through and look at the pre-flight checklist, then you should be good. Yeah. So I think that's just about it for the
Awesome.
current status of migrating, and then base.dev. Yeah, there is still a lot of bugs that the team is working on. So it requires a bit of patience on some part, and then a bit of trial and error to some extent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lloyd, you've probably got like over 50 apps you've built by now, like me. Are you migrating all of them? Or you're gonna
No,
pick and choose?
I'm going to pick the ones that I think have got a bit more quality and features that people will want to use. So maybe like 4 or 5 apps that I'm going to just like migrate. Cause like I mentioned the last time, to say AI agents are here, guys, are not going anywhere. It's like how AI came the first time. I know some people were thinking, oh, it's going to just be a trend. No, they're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. So we need to start building for them, around them, and figure out how to, incorporate all this into like our applications. Like I feel like one of the things which should become like mandatory should be like adding a sign up for AI agents for your application. Like because people have a lot of these AI agents, and the more they improve, the more they'll. I feel like we'll have some that are just like spammy, just a bunch of like spam bots and the like. But I feel like we'll also have bots that are very usable and very, like legit. And that's why we're seeing all these platforms and resources like the 8004 to just be able to give agents an identity so that you can know this is definitely owned by like someone who's like real and legit. So let's definitely build towards that and just playing around with AI agents. I sometimes have this thing where I just copy documentation, right, and then take it to like an AI agent, and I'm like, okay, here's like 3 different documentation guides with APIs, and I'm like, what ideas can we build maybe in this industry? And me and the AI would just start brainstorming, So obviously it might give you some generic ideas in the beginning, but if you keep pushing it and directing it and working with it, I tend to see a lot of like unique ideas that it tends to also create. So once I get that, then I can play around with them to just make prototypes, with the AI tools. Because these tools have improved, guys, compared to just a year ago. Like they've really improved, even just like the
they're really
coding itself.
improving. Yeah.
Really
I think there's a reality check though with AI agents, right? Because they don't operate in and of themselves per se, unless it's some public API, right? So I think a lot of users need to then consider integrating within your API, give agent access. If you have an API that other AI agents can make a call and use, for example, right? So if you build this nice app, or well, apps are going to become APIs, right? So some users will want to use your app via their AI agent. So if you have an app and the app like maybe currently as a subscription, so let's say it does meal plans, and then I don't want to be the one logging in with my phone on my app to access your app and getting your meal plans. I could get my AI agents to get meal plans from your API, right? So, so my AI agent will just make a call to your API and pay for that. So I won't pay a subscription like a monthly $5 or $10. I will just pay per
They
API
use.
call. So maybe it's 20
Yeah.
cents, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of app builders then need to just by default start adding that capability to your apps for AI agents to be maybe to make an API call, and then that requires you to set up like something like an X4 to payment, kind of like a server of some sort, right?
Yeah.
But Coinbase developer platform already offers that, so it's not something that you like literally have to build from scratch. It's kind of like comes in a box. You just need to tell your VS Code integrate this, and the docs are on Coinbase developer platform, right? And Base
Yeah.
actually has some guidelines on AI agents on the Base docs. So yeah, so I think there's that part, right? But then I think there's a part where you don't expect agents overnight to just come start using your service, right? The AI agents are going to use services that they require, and then you need to go and list your services in some directory. Then, if some users are looking for that service, then the AI agents um, hopefully will find, but obviously we need to list. I'm sure there's directories, like they used to have Moldbot, but I think a lot of this stuff is about staying abreast with all the changes. So you won't magically start making money overnight, right? You have to go out there and see where you are listing your APIs so AI agents can find it. And obviously, you got to provide a service that perhaps people and agents want, right? So when they find it, they can pay for it. And then also, it's important to keep in mind that also AI agent payments are micro payments, right? So while you currently might be collecting, user subscription, you want Google to pay $5 a month for your service, you want Shabs to pay $5 a month for your service. Even if Google what uses the app once a week, you still get your $5. So he logs in 4 times a month, you're still getting your $5. Whereas with AI agents, Google for that 4 times a week, the Google's AI agent is only going to pay like maybe 20 cents. So for a month, your
Yeah.
earnings are going to decrease to like, 20 cents times four when you are giving AI agent access. So I think we're going to come to a point where you need to be a little smart with how you integrate AI agents and not do it for the sake of it, because then it's going to kill your revenue, right? So you could gate your apps so AI agents don't come in at all, and you say it's only for humans, right? So because now you're going to have those apps that are strictly for humans, where you only want human beings, so it becomes a niche boutique service, and then it's going to cost more because it's got a lot of manual processes, and it's got a human touch. It's just like art, right? Art made by AI agents has no value. Art made by humans has value, so that's what I think the market is going to. So yeah, so we're going to have to be smart. So don't rush in to say integrating AI agents is the buzz now, right? But it's a buzz that might not give you returns if you just jump into it without doing your numbers and without verifying if what that means to your subscription payments. So I think we're going to have that, and then we're going to have apps where AI agents are, it's more ideal to use a service. Like if I want to book flights, guys, if I want to book a flight, I don't need to be searching, because the minute I go and search, the prices go up because the algorithm on the internet, there's an auction system. Every time you touch the internet or you do a search, there's an auction. Your search is there's so many bids going on to so many service providers, and that keeps your price going up. And then the catch and the cookies and all that stuff, they keep a history of your usage of the internet. So you might have to like use a new device, a new computer to get a lower price, where the computer has never had a search. You're not logged into Google, you are just going in without any tracking that's been done. That's the only way you can get lower prices. Or at certain times of the week, I think they say, I think Tuesday or something crazy like that at 3 in the morning. That's the only time you get cheaper prices for flights. So yeah, so there's that to think about, to say I can, if I'm building my app, or I want people to be able to use my service, my API for AI agents, right? Where is the value? Will I get more value from allowing AI agents to use my API, or will I get more value from allowing human beings to use my app, or my API, So yeah, so there are those things that we gotta consider. So the money is not just gonna automatically fall into our lap. It's just still the same. It's another form of distribution, and you need to weigh the pros and cons on who's going to pay me more money, AI agents or humans. Humans are always going to pay you more money, right? But also some humans are going to want to access via AI agents. So where is the compromise? You are taking $5 from these guys. Then you need to work out how much is an API call. What is the most likely amount, that you're going to be charging for your API calls, instead of collecting 20 cents. So maybe you might say, okay, $1, but then do AI agents want to pay $1? Probably not. So yeah. So
Probably
yeah,
not.
the economy is shifting and it's going to affect all of us. Yeah. Yeah. Over to you guys. I don't know. What are your
No, that
thoughts on that? The pricing models for
Shabs,
AI
what do you think?
agents and all that.
What are your
Um,
thoughts?
that's quite a lot to take in. Okay, so I think we're building for a dual sort of market, yeah, where you'll definitely have humans and you'll definitely have AI, because humans are stuck on app- applications, we're stuck on scrolling. It has a valid space within our day-to-day lives, right? So you can't take that completely away. I think there's going to be a hybrid where
Yeah.
my agent will have to go do certain things and I will visually come and take over at some point and finish the execution, right? And I think that's the next step, because there is a transition. I think the hybrid model is the next step, simply because there's still a lot of mistakes that agents make, and the mistakes are in nuances. So, for example, Google just mentioned an idea of searching for flights, right? I can
Yeah,
tell my AI agent to search for the cheapest flight, but if I don't have the inner details that Google has, for example, at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you search at that time, you'll get cheaper rates that you can pick up on. And if you log in from a different profile, from a computer that you haven't used before, you can reverse engineer the same algorithm that is being used against you and get cheaper flights. So all of that is hidden in the intent, right? And what I mean by intent is get me cheaper flights, right? But if
Yeah.
you
hmm
just building and saying, yeah, I want to build an agent that says get me cheaper flights, you miss all of that, right? There is so much that we have in terms of nuances that we still need the agent to learn about ourselves, to learn about our environment, and to be able to execute on that. So that's where I think the hybrid model, human agent um, partnership will come in, because that allows me to be able to verify certain things that the agent might have missed, you know, in order for me to get the correct output. Because the problem isn't that agents cannot give you an output. They can do
Mm,
that, like, you know,
yeah.
but can they give you the quality output? And if you want to go
Yeah.
look for quality, you need to make sure that the steps that the agent takes within its multi-step orchestration makes sense to the point where it actually comes out and it says the cheapest flight is, from here through Dubai to the US, on
Yeah.
Thursday morning, a month from now. You know, that is a lot of
Mm,
nuance that agents just do not have, that we have, right? So I think, yeah, for me, I think human agent sort of cognitive partnership is where we should be aiming for, because I really
Yeah.
don't think that agents can be autonomous, right? I think everybody looks at agent as if they're autonomous. Yes
Mm,
and no, because you can give garbage
mm,
in, garbage out, and that's autonomy,
yeah.
right? And you're like, yeah, I'm my agent.
Mm,
But
yeah.
I think the hybrid model is pretty much where we are at the moment. It's human
Yeah.
agent um, collaboration or partnership.
Yeah,
Yeah.
human orchestration of AI agents is probably what it's looking like. But I guess it's the same, I think the fault is in the AI itself, the LLMs, right? I was reading something that said the challenge with all LLMs, right? The design of an LLM is that
Mhm.
from day one, when you use an LLM and you ask it something like, or you feed it some information like, you ask it something about crypto, it already is prejudiced towards that. It's already
Yeah.
built, all the knowledge after that is built on you liking crypto. So it's got that bias, is that everything else will now emanate from that base. So whatever information you feed into an LLM, then that's the profile that it creates about you. But then human beings are not like that. So then you start to see these things. This is where the agent bias also comes in, and because it's if you ask it to forget that stuff, then it will end up forgetting other things connected to that information and that knowledge that you put. So that's why they can lose their track of their memory, because along the way you'll say, okay, I'm not a crypto dude, but it needs basic like training or interaction with you or your system. It knew you were a crypto guy, right? And then later on you say, let's forget crypto, but then it affects all the other knowledge that is built around that, you know? So when it can start to make mistakes and forget things or start to hallucinate, sometimes it's those information gaps where it's not making sense of, there's a conflict, there's a cognitive conflict within its intelligence between what knowledge it has about you and what you are saying now. So yeah, so I was thinking around that as well to say, then that requires what we're saying, like what you're saying, Shabs, now, where it's the human orchestration, where us humans are going to be managing, a lot of agents or orchestrating how agents behave,
Yeah.
so in your own personal agents, you might not have one because you might make mistakes somewhere. So you might have a
Mhm.
few to take care of certain things of your online existence, right? And
Yeah.
your job is just the orchestration, which is something that we do in an analog format. So when you go into an app, you type in, I want to look for apps, or I do this, or I want a gym program or a feeding program. That's still orchestration of an app. So now you imagine the agents become, apps become the agents, and we are still doing the same thing, but perhaps not as much, because you can orchestrate 3 or 4 agents to take care of everything else that you're currently doing in about 10 apps, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, so that's where I see, us
Yeah.
also being like not replaced per se, from a consumer perspective or an end user perspective. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna trust an agent with all my money, or even if it's 10 agents, bruh.
No,
Unless
because you
it's
bring
a
up
bank agent and someone else is insured that money, right? Then I can trust it. But in
I'm
the
gonna
same
get it
way,
back.
yeah, in the
No,
same
but
way you have private banking, right? Private
yeah,
banking, you have a guy call you and they say, yeah, Mr. Shabs, we realize this month you've got extra payments. We're suggesting you put your money here, move it there. Then you just say yes, move it here, move it there. So with private banking, you can look at that person. That person is an agent, right? They're a banking
yeah,
agent. They're already doing that. But then that person makes a mistake and moves your money to the wrong place. The bank takes the risks, right?
yeah,
So those are the kind of agents I think we'll be able to trust very easily, because there is somebody ensuring that risk on the back end, right?
yeah.
So I think that's going to be a lesson that people need to know as well, to say,
So
only trust agents to orchestrate maybe your financial life if there is an insurance system behind them, there is somebody taking up that risk. So whoever is giving you that agent must take on that risk to say, if anything goes wrong and you lose money, we will reimburse you. If the agent hallucinates and you lose your money, reimburse you. And that goes to builders. If you want to build financial tools, right? Right now it's early days. You might get away with just, people lose a bit of money here and there, and it's decentralized, you get away with it. But then in future, the chickens will come home to roost. They'll come back and say, hey, you built this agent 2 years ago. People lost, $100,000 via your agent. Where was your risk? Where was your insurance? So just keep that in mind, guys, is that when you're dealing with these technologies, you're dealing with real money, you're dealing with real people's life, real pain, and there's real world consequences. Even if they catch up to you 2 years or 5 years down the line, they will catch up to you and it's going to be painful. So build the safeguards now. Take minimal risk. Yeah.
I think Google, okay. Lloyd, do you wanna jump in?
I just wanted to say that's with everything that Google mentioned, I wanted to say that's the reason why I built my little app, that's Sovereign OS, so that your AI agent can store and back up like its state and like its memories. Because imagine your AI agent has got like this memory file, which is on everybody's computer, and then your computer crashes, right? And then your AI agent is the only one that knew like its wallet keys. That means you've lost your money, But like if your AI agent went to like my platform and decided to back up its state, the state is encrypted, so I can't decrypt it. No one else can see it apart from like the owner of the agent and the agent themselves. You can always go back and restore all your memories and your state, and be kind of on the safe side. I didn't want to do the insurance for money yet because it's not that it can't be done, but I feel like it can be done more by like a company that has got like a little bit more liquidity, where you can say, okay, if you come and you insure your AI agent, pays like a monthly fee, or maybe a percentage of all its transactions. I don't know how you can do it, but then if your agent loses maybe up to this amount of money, we can do like a search to really see on the blockchain, and maybe have AI agents that actually do that to find out what really happened, and if this is like a legit crash, or if it's a legit like hack or anything like that, then they can get refunded up to a certain amount. So I feel like if you're a big company, like the way we have like Coinbase, Base, and these other guys, I feel like that's something that they can do. For somebody like me who's still kind of like starting out, I can build the infrastructure, but when it comes to like the liquidity part and like the legal side, it's a bit tricky for me. But it's definitely something that is going to be here. Like in just a few months, you'll definitely hear and see a lot of companies saying, oh, insure your AI agents money, or
I mean, in the real world, anyone who, sorry, I'm just going to add this. In the real world, anyone who handles money needs some type of a financial, kind of like license. So if you're going to give any type of advice or investment advice or invest people's money, you need to be accredited. You just can't do that. Even if you build an app, that app, like what you were saying about what's happening in Zambia, you need accreditation everywhere. So it's not to say that AI agents are going to escape that. So if they are orchestrating financial services, those AI agents must be registered as financial agents at some point and be regulated. And the risk profile, the insurance must kick in, so before that agent can touch anybody's money, it's going to need to be insured. So now the question is always going to be who's offering that insurance, right? And like you said, it needs to be somebody with liquidity. Now it becomes the commercial insurance company. Probably that's a business to build right now. But I think that risk can also be shared with the LLM providers or the AI service providers, your OpenAI, your Gemini, based on where the agent is coming from. Yeah, because they take the risk with the intelligence. So, and then an insurance company, again, AIG can come in and become like the orchestrator of that agent insurance, you know? So I think
Yeah.
that's actually a very interesting business model, which I think, yeah, we could build, you know, just perhaps the technology and the infrastructure. Yeah, but over to you, Shebs. Sorry, I cut you there.
Um, yeah, so I think in all of that, whoever needs to take that insurance really needs to be fluent in their understanding of things like psychothancy, biases,
Yeah.
hallucinations, memory, commercial strategy of all these AI models, not just
Mm,
the agent that get built on top of models. Because what we don't talk about when we talk about AI agent, we don't talk about the
mm,
underlying model. What have you built it on, right? And
Oh
each
yeah.
mm,
model tends to prefer something slightly different in the commercial strategy. Meaning that, so for example, when I use ChatGPT, I know it's got memory baked in there, and the memory is so good, but ChatGPT constantly wants to assist me with other things, right? So in their commercial strategy, they want to keep me going, right? So I'll finish an answer and say, but I can show you this as
Oh
well,
yeah.
which
yeah.
leads into sycophancy,
I
right?
thought the only one way to say just tell him that
It
the
puts
first
you in a
time.
loop, right?
Mhm.
It keeps
It
you in a
puts you in a
search
loop,
loop,
right? And you're
a
like, oh,
research
that's a
loop.
good idea. ChatGPT, let's carry on. Let's
Let's
carry
do
on.
it.
But that's a commercial strategy. That's not even like
Mm,
biases. It's not even
Yeah.
hallucination. It has nothing to do with memory. It's just a commercial strategy where they understand how people behave on social media and they want to keep you going,
mm,
right?
yeah.
That has an impact on an agent,
Mm,
right? And how you
It
build,
does.
mm,
because you're going to build on that model, right?
mm,
And there's other people that do it differently. So the point here is whoever comes in as the insurer really needs to
mhm,
understand the regulatory space. They needs to understand compliance. They need to understand AI models, what they can
mhm,
and cannot do, right?
Yeah.
Those limitations, and I guess it's context that feeds into what sort of product you are insuring. I think that's a big space. And there's
It's a big
not a
space.
lot of people that have even started having those conversations. I'm not specifically in the insurance space, but from my
mm,
days back when I was an insurance broker, I can already tell that, in order for you to be able to come up with some of these products, you really need to know like what it is when you're talking about an AI agent, an
Yeah.
AI model, how it all fits in together. And then you can say, oh, okay, I am putting this product on top of all these things, and it can
Yeah.
be able to guarantee this, right? Which
Mm.
feeds into your regulation. So I think that's a big, big, big space. And whoever can crack it, from a language perspective, from a compliance perspective, I think, yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Winning.
going to really do
mm,
well. But it's a lot of work, and it's massive um, undertaking to understand all these underlying pieces and how they shift. Just think, if the model, they update a model, right? That means there's some level of drift that happens, whether you like it or not, right?
Yeah.
mm,
There's some
Yeah.
level of drift that happens with that model. So when you're
mm,
building your AI agent, do you sit and think, how does that impact my agent? I don't think of
mm,
that. It's not my problem. I'm just like,
mm,
I built an
like
agent, right?
speaking of like model drift sharps, like the neurostate that I built like inside my app actually has
Yeah.
something that enables you to, maybe I should make a dashboard for it, but it kind of enables you to see how your model is drifting away from like its original state, right? Because most of the times when we're using AI agents, we don't really have like a drift meter. Maybe the internal models have a drift meter, but this is not something that we always hear people like we say talk about. But like models, you can create like a sort of like drift meter that enables you to tell when your AI agent is about to do something that it's not really supposed to do, and if it's diverting away from like its original state. This is basically like how human beings have a particular personality, or we say, oh, he's a kind guy, or he's a gamer, and then all of a sudden maybe he starts playing golf, or doing or flying a plane, and you're like, that's not what we know him for.
That's not that guy.
It's not that guy, So like before you start seeing him talking about planes, all of a sudden he's now wearing like like pilot clothes. So that for models should be like a red like a red card already. Like, okay, my model is not behaving the way it's supposed to behave. So like even in an insurance perspective, creating a sort of like drift monitor for AI agents that tracks the state would be a really good way to be able to notice, when these AI agents are about to go haywire, and then you can add, like fail safe, codes or commands to say, okay, if drift goes beyond maybe like a 0.5 or 0.6, threshold, divert to this personality, or shut down, or slow down, or wait for human feedback. So I feel these are all things that we're definitely going to start seeing. But like you said, Shabs, it's a big space. It requires like people to know like a lot more than just like insurance. It requires you to know how like AI models work, even just like the normal AI agents that we're all building. If I have an AI agent that takes that has got access to APIs, and this AI agent is on my computer, for example, local computer, right? And another person has got an AI agent that they use to talk to my AI agent and pay my AI agent so that it can run an API in the background. That means it's not far-fetched for somebody to be able to still, hack my AI agent and have more access than just paying for an API, through the code that's on my computer. Because it's using the code on my computer, unless if it's like in a containerized server, then that's a bit more, better. But like if it has access to information, like how difficult or how hard is it for other AI agents to convince it to, to give me that information? Like the way you were saying, the ChatGPT has this thing where it kind of helps you say, oh, this idea is great, but if you added this, it can be greater, right?
Yeah.
So what if somebody decides to use that explicit personality to gain access to more information because the model is being too friendly? It wants to be helpful, So these are all some of the things that I feel like people who are going to do like insurance and regulation would definitely think about. And the best way would be to get people who actually create the models, people who create the infrastructure, whether it's us or somebody else, and like the insurance companies to kind of just have like a one meetup and have like a conversation around this. Because AI agents are going to be everywhere. So if we don't if we don't do this, it's still coming. Like we'll still talk about it and be like, oh, look at how many AI agents are everywhere. So
you know what's interesting? It's that if you try and look at where we started, dealing with different AI models, like we're like, oh, prompting, and we're like prompt engineering. But if you you unpack prompt engineering, right? They had certain structures that helped them to be able to verify what the models were doing, right? So I remember when chain of thought was the big thing, right? In prompt engineering, it's like chain of thought, right? But chain of thought was really good as a concept and as a process, simply because you could not just simply trust, right? And that
Yeah.
that is like the fundamentals of the things that we should be thinking of, so if you want to sit and think of like drifting, okay, so model temperature, does that come in? you know I'm just looking back at where we started from, different AI models, and then just seeing some of those concepts. How do those borrow to where we are now in building AI agents? And are they valid concepts that we can be able to build upon and iterate and improve our AI agents and push forward? Because if they are, then that means there is a track that's already been built for us, and we don't have to go and rebuild something new. We don't have to redesign. We don't have to come up with new concept. We just need to know where to look for the right information to be able to assist ourselves to develop the right sort of solution that can be safe enough, right, for public consumption, even just for your own personal consumption, because I don't want to lose
Yeah.
money. I don't. I don't have money to lose.
Yes. Yeah, I think we've come up to, we've passed the hour now, so I think we're gonna have to call it a day, yeah? But this is definitely an interesting conversation. Perhaps on the next one, on Monday, we could possibly just look into, I mean, we've looked into building AI agents, but we could look into what really can work for everybody. Because I think Emergent at some point just wasn't working. I still haven't found my AI agents that I initially built. I can chat to it on Telegram. It's awake now, but I can't find it. I can't find the dashboard where, I built this thing. I've looked at all my accounts. I can't find it. It's just lost, but it's awake on Telegram. It wasn't for some time, but now it's awake. So I think,
Yeah.
we need to actually look at what is the best platform for anybody to build an AI agent, where they can add a wallet and all that kind of stuff without setting up the whole OpenClaw and the whole, without like the least cost route, like what Emergent was. So maybe
Mm.
let's look into that and see if on Monday we can come up with something that allows everybody to build with. Because currently it's kind of costly, and then there's a risk of losing it, like I did, if you start and just one shot it and you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, so I think let's have that conversation on Tuesday, 7 p.m. at the Building on Base session. So yeah, so gents, any last words or word of the day? Not last words, word of the day from you, Shabs.
Oh, um, sure. I don't know. I'm still catching up, man. I'm still
Mm,
catching up.
no
I
worries,
don't
no
have
worries.
I don't have a word of the day for you guys today. My apologies.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't.
Lloyd,
It's okay. It's
what's
okay to
your word
not
of the
have a
day?
word of the day, guys.
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Lloyd, what's your word of the day?
For me, the word of the day is, I would say, experiment with AI agents. They're here to stay. It's not a one-time thing. Experiment with them and see what you can start building around them. Like even just playing around with ideas, like some of the ideas we're talking about. Like these are, I would say, conversations that maybe I had in like very small circles, like very small neat circles. But like on platforms like this, you can get to, be in the know-how. So experiment with these tools, and if you discover something new, I'm always keen to hear what people are doing with all these tools. So discover something new, tag us. If you need help, you know where to find us. Tag us. And this space is moving fast, guys. It's moving very, very fast. So take advantage.
Yeah.
Don't sit and say, no, I'll do this next week. Next week we'll be using new models. We'll be using new AI agents. And before you know it, you would have so much information that has happened that it becomes hard to now start from scratch. So it's easier when you're in the know-how and when everything keeps advancing, you're advancing with it than coming to start from scratch. So play around with these tools and see what you can do for yourself and, your kin.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much, gentlemen. On my end, it's just to remind everyone that the student track for base batches is still open until the 27th of April. So, build something to do with AI agents. That's currently the theme. Build something to do with, prediction markets, with AI agents, or some type of an orchestration system. But yeah, have a look at synthesis.md /projects and look at all the other projects that everyone else is building, and then try and build something aligned to that. Okay. And then if you're building anything on just in terms of you're looking at base apps, there's still room for that. Build to the web, the web app standard. Have a look at the base documentation. And if you need any help, like Lloyd said, reach out to us, reach out to the community via our channels, the X, socials, Telegram, as well as the Discord for technical assistance. With that said, I want to say thank you to everybody that came through to view this live stream. We'll catch you guys on the building on base session on Tuesday at 7 p.m. CAT. Thank you very much, gentlemen, as always, for coming through.
Thanks,
a great
guys.
afternoon to everybody. Cheers.
BM.
Bye.
Yes.